gonna have to come back in and put the title back in a little bit later. What makes you a slave? That's basically what I'm going to be uh, talking about here. Because this dude told his uncle that, and this dude live in a single parent household to this day. Now I'm saying it like this because I don't want to put I don't want to, I won't say it plain enough to where people can understand where I'm coming from without trying to disclose too much, expose too much information to say, you know. So what I'm saying, I'm gonna speak the truth, but I'm gonna speak it casual. And the examples of what makes you a slave, and they got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. It's seven things that shows it. But what I want to do is this person said, and I want to make some proof. Now, here, let me say this here. I don't believe in calling myself something or claiming to be something that I'm not. I don't like doing that. I can't stand to be lying. I don't like lying. You know what I'm saying? But only thing I can do is I can tell you is that for sure that I do experience when I try to interact with my people, they don't even speak. Just like today, I was in Walmart today, and I was doing a little picking up a couple of items for some family members that in the hood. They had sent me to the store to pick up a couple of items for them. And so they gave me a list, and you know what I'm saying. And I went to the store, and in the process of me going to the store and picking up those things. Excuse me a minute. Hold on. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be quoting from this too as well. Let me see where I can sit this at. I was in the store and they had a so-called white man, Edomite, Esau. Esau was behind me, and Edomite, so-called white man. He was behind me in the line, and I'm sitting there waiting on to get checked out. I get checked out, and I tried to be pleasant with showing being friendly and happy and stuff like that. I was doing that. I wasn't trying because I wanted to reconcile and be and try to make peace with people and try to connection with my people. But the sister, she refused to even acknowledge me as far as hello, how you doing? How you doing today? Which it doesn't really bother. Well, okay, yes, it can. Yes, it can bother you, but it don't. I'm not gonna sit there and just let it just overwhelm me or overtake me like that. But I did notice that the sister didn't say anything to me. The only thing she did, as soon as now mind you, Esau, the so-called white man, was behind me, right? He was getting ready to get checked out. She said, "Hello, how you doing today?" She broke a neck speaking to that man. She did. When he came to me, she delayed everything. She just was ringing me up, but she just act like basically I didn't exist, even though I was there literally paying for my stuff. Didn't want to engage. Didn't want to say how you, which it doesn't bother. It didn't bother me, but I'm just saying it to make a point. That's all I'm doing. I'm not tripping over the whole thing, but it will. You will think about it, like what the hell. I didn't say nothing though. You know how you just pay attention to things in your mind, or you just notice it, but you don't really say anything. But you keep going. You act like you ain't see that shit or whatever or whatever. So that's what happened to me. So I can, when it comes to stuff that, when it comes to experiencing you, bro, what the fuck he speaking to me for? You speak, you know what I mean? Like, what's up, bro? What's up, man? What's up? They don't say that, but they just look at you like they don't want to be bothered. And some of them act funny with you. Some of them don't even want you to ask them a question. Just like if you lost in a city and you walk and say, "Excuse me, man, do you know where so and so blah 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 this and that and the third?" Some of them might look at you and wanna like, hey, what you coming over here for? Stuff like that. You know what I mean? And all you doing, you just trying to get direction, or maybe you trying to find whatever it may be. You trying to you shopping for a particular item and you can't find it. You need some help. People would act funny with you in that way. You're like, damn, okay. But I noticed this sister, when she saw the so-called behind me, she engaged and said, "Hey, how you doing today?" But did she do that to me when she was ringing me up? No. Mm-mm. So that's how I noticed. I said, mm. So I can relate to that, but I don't walk around calling myself something that I'm not. You know what I mean? Just like them people over there in Ashkenaz, them fake Jews in Israel, they call themselves the real Jews. How can they call themselves the real Jews when that prophecy ain't been fulfilled yet? Because you have people in America still over here in slavery, and I'm gonna prove that in a minute. If it haven't, oh, we go, still here. Let's read this down. It said the answer is simple. Yes, slavery does exist still. And it says, does slavery still exist today? That's the question. Let's read down here. The answer is simple. Yes, slavery does still exist in America today. In fact, the estimated number of people living in conditions of modern slavery, bro, in the United States now is 400, no, 40,000 and no, 40,000 and 403,000. Like I said, 403,000, something like that. If I'm off with the numbers, people, my bad. But it's a lot of them. You see what I'm saying? Uh, the simple, yes, slavery does still exist in America today. In fact, the estimated number of people living in condition of modern slavery in the United States right now is, I'm gonna say, 403,000. I'll say it like that. But let me say it like this, because a lot of people will say this dude signed up there and disrespected his uncle and told his uncle that know you wasn't a slave. Or, like, okay, if I wasn't, if that person, individual person that you're saying, you disrespected your peers like that and said it wasn't a slave because you living on the other side of the world. So you attack that person like that. That person still lives in a single parent household. That person is not choosing to live like that. What in the hell? I'd like to know what the hell is he? That's sad. What the hell is he talking about? You see what I'm saying? Like, what is he reading? Is he in reality or something? You wonder, is in reality? You see what I'm saying? Like, how could you fix your mouth is to tell your peers, and I'm not talking about nobody. How can you do that when we still is living in the same condition today? We're not choosing that. Ain't nobody choosing and saying, well, he didn't choose to wake up and say, oh, you know what? I want to be poor one day. He go out there in the streets, and that man, your uncle, then got rejected by a lot of people, a lot of women, and he was a good person, grew up trying to live his best, things of that nature. So I'm like, why would he, like, that's crazy. And even in like, let's read, hold on, I tell you what, let's read this here, because I know he's gonna try to put a rebuttal to this. Baruch chapter 3 and verse 8. The Bible says, Baruch chapter 3, the Baruch chapter 3 and verse 8. The Bible says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payment. Don't we still have to, ain't your uncle still, does he still have to go to the store and pay for stuff? He still have to pay for stuff. What are you saying? That's crazy. just like you got to pay for stuff. You see what I'm saying? Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity. That means we are yet this day, we're still in slavery. It may not be ancient slavery, but we're in modern day. It's still the same. Everybody suffers some form of it. It don't have to be in the same way, but it's still slavery. That's slavery when you have to go get a passport. That's slavery when your uncle got to go and get a passport. I don't know why you would say things like that about your. Why would you say that about your uncle? You basically telling your uncle he struggled, but your uncle didn't have a struggle. That's basically what you're saying, because he like, where's it? It's like they not looking at reality. It's like what have they been reading? It's like they still. I don't understand that. How could they? And the reality is right there before your face. You see what I'm saying? We still over here in America, bro. We still, if what you're saying is true, if your uncle is saying, if you're saying that about him, then that means he should be able to go out there and he should be able to take and drive a car with no goddamn driver's license. If he can if you telling your uncle that, by that logic, then if you telling him that, I should be able to get out there on the highway and drive a goddamn car with no driver's license and no insurance on that mug. No insurance on that motherfucker. That's what I should be able to do. If you tell your uncle some shit like that, that he wasn't never a slave, not ancient slavery, but modern day. It's just like if you have a storm in Memphis, Tennessee, and it tap everything. Then the news tell you that it ain't gonna hit you as bad, but you're gonna get a touch or a taste of it. It's still the same storm. You just experienced it with a touch or a taste of it. What are you talking about? I think you need to go back and do your. I'm gonna give it to you now. You ain't no dumb cat. I can give you that. You ain't no dumb cat. But when it comes to that, what you just said, your uncle being raised up in Christianity, he was in blind once. Then worked at a restaurant his whole life. He can even show you proof of videos of him working his off. How he worked on their job, didn't even get a minimum wage pay. What the hell are you talking about? You see what I'm saying? If you telling your uncle some shit like that, then by that goddamn logic, you know what? I should be able to go out there and get me a car with no driver's license and no insurance and drive it. Based upon what you're saying, if you're saying that, you need to come say that. You need to come tell me that I can go and get me a car and get out there and get on the streets and go to driving. Now, if you don't get put, definition of slavery is when you driving, you ain't got no insurance and no driver's license. You ain't got to never pay for your food in America here. You ain't got to pay for nothing. Everything is fucking free. Your education is free. Everything. You ain't got to worry about being pulled over. You ain't got to worry about none of that stuff. If you telling that your uncle some shit like that, then by that logic, then I shouldn't have to pay for a damn thing. If you know that much, if you telling him that, then he should be able to make his mother rich right now. He'd have been did that shit if he could do that. Hell, if you telling him that, you need to come tell me that. You need to come tell me some shit like that. You need to come tell me some more than some stuff like that. You wasn't never a slave. Really? Well, by that logic, then I should be able to tell you I never paid for no food, never paid for nothing. Everything was free. All I had to do was just go to the store go and get it. If that's the case, you telling me I wasn't a slave. Slaves, they have to pay for service for things. I don't know what you talking about. I don't know what you. Oh, you need to. I don't know. You got to do some more explaining, bro. You got to do some more. I don't know where you getting your information from, but you need to go reevaluate something. You need to you need to uninstall something and re-download the right. You done downloaded a virus in your brain. I don't know what the hell you own. I love you, man, but I'm just saying, bro, I don't know what the hell you own. Saying some shit like that. That means I should be able to live here and not even go to the store and pay for nothing I get. If you telling him that, if you telling somebody else, other people that, I don't know what you mean by that, homeboy. Like, it doesn't add up. What you saying? And then you telling him to don't read the Bible to you because you know he gonna correct you. You know you deep down there, you know a lot of that stuff ain't correct. What you're saying, you already know that. You already know a lot of that ain't correct. Come on, bro. You smarter. You need to come back to yourself. You know better than that. Yeah, man. You don't like. I'm going like I couldn't believe what I was fucking hearing. And that dude, baby brother went to prison for some shit that he didn't even do. He suffered from being around didn't even have his family around. Did he wake up one day and say, you know what, I want to be accused of this and go, no, I don't know what you're talking about, man. You need, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know, man. I don't understand what because you sure ain't in real reality. I'm going to tell you that now. Lamentation chapter 5 and verse 2. Our inheritance is turned to strangers. Our houses to aliens. We are orphans, and fatherless. Our mothers are as widow. That means single parent household. We have drinking our water for money. What you saying, bro? You ain't you that's not based upon what God says. What God is saying, it ain't saying the same thing you saying. So who's lying? You didn't want to be corrected according to this, and I'm not speaking in quote no damn no damn religion. I don't deal with religion. I'm gonna show you, and I'm gonna prove to you that I'm not dealing with religion because I know that's what you're gonna. I'm not part of that. Religion is white supremacy, and I don't deal with no religion. So before you go there, I don't care how smart you are. You ain't smarter than God. You ain't smarter than the Most God. You ain't smarter than the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Look what it says here. We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows. We have drinking our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us. That means we got to go buy damn wood. We want to buy wood to keep warm. We got to go buy our shit. So him saying that his uncle, you ain't no slave. What the hell? Like what the hell is he talking about? What the hell? Our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest. We have given the head to the Egyptians and to the Assyrians, and to be satisfied with bread. Our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have bore their iniquities. Servants have ruled over us. There is none that does deliver us out of his hand. Servants have ruled over us. So I'm like, what the hell is he talking about?
Our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. They ravished the women of Zion, that means they raped them, and the maidens in the cities of Judah. Princes are hanged up by their head. The forces of elders were not honored. They don't honor our elderly people. They don't give a damn about our people, man. Let's go to Isaiah chapter, let's see. Because this brother here, man, is destroyed, bro. I'm gonna show you that our nation of people, they hated. It says, Isaiah 11 and 12, and he shall set up the assign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed Judah from the four corners of the earth. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim, that's talking about the Puerto Ricans, shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. But they shall flee upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west, and they shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, that's about the Chinese, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. See that? That means this is talking about how Israel gonna rule, bro. So let's go to here we go. This is what I wanted. Isaiah 9 and verse 21. Manasseh and Ephraim and Manasseh, they together shall be against Judah. They said they shall be against Judah. That means our people hate each other. For all this, his anger is not turned their way, but his hand is stretched still. That means he gonna have mercy on Jacob. If you read Isaiah 14:1, bro. So let's go and let's read Deuteronomy chapter 2. And I'm still dealing with the subject to payments. Because people don't read. They just don't read. Like, what the hell? When I heard that, I'm like, how does that make sense? What he's saying? You know? Deuteronomy chapter 2 and let's start at verses. Let's start at verse 2. And the Lord spake unto Moses, and the Lord spake unto me, saying, that's talking about Moses, ye have compassed this mountain long enough, turn you northward, and the command that the people are saying, ye are to pass through of your brethren, the children of Esau, which dwell in Seir. That's talking about where the Caucasus Mountain is, where Esau, the Edomites, so-called Caucasian, dwell. And they shall be afraid of you. Take ye good heed unto yourselves, therefore. Meddle not with them, for I will not give you of their land. No, not so much as a foot bringest, because I have given Mount Seir unto Esau for a possession. That means because we have disobeyed God. Verse 6, chapter 2. Ye shall buy meat of them for money. So that's a slave. So when he told his uncle that you were not a slave, anytime your uncle has to go and buy and spend at the so-called white man's stores, that's a slave, homeboy. That's a slave for us over here. That's a slave. You're a slave. So you telling me? So you must be saying that your uncle can get from up under that. That's what you're saying. If you can take that away as a so-called black man, away from your uncle, then you need to come do it. You need to come do it for all of us. Ye shall buy meat of them for money, that ye may eat, and ye shall also buy water of them for money, that ye may drink. How can you can't get no plainer than that? How plain? This is explanatory right here. How can you argue? You can't argue this. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I can go to the scriptures and do what you said. Now I'll give it to you. You're a smart cat now. You way smarter than I am. I ain't got shit on you compared to what you got. You are very dynamite when it comes to understanding because you done traveled the world. I ain't never traveled the world, but I do know one thing. I do have proof of you got to pay for your shit. That means if I leave here, that means by your logic, I shouldn't have to even pay for a passport. You got to get a permission from Esau is to leave this country. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. You cannot prove to me that I'm lying. I don't care what you know. You can't prove the fact that we still go and have to pay them people in them stores. Even it might have been easy. Yes, it probably could. I probably could go out there and get it. I could get it. But it ain't gonna be easy. That doesn't still, it's not gonna exempt you from being subject to some kind of form of restriction. Because you still gonna be restricted to Esau some kind of way. Even the richest of you got some so-called black people who are rich, but that doesn't mean that does that make them non-slaves? No. It doesn't mean that makes them non-slaves because they were rich. You got black so-called a few black people who was born wealthy and with a silver spoon in their mouth. Does that exempt them from not being a slave? No. They still have some kind of form of it because they still got to go and pay another man for what they need. And all the stuff you were saying about, okay, if you hate the white man that much and all that kind of stuff, then when they send you a check, give it back to him. That's stupid as hell because you still telling me that I need to go out there and work for Esau. Get up and go get you a job and don't depend upon the government and don't do this and that. You had to depend upon the government just like your uncle did, just like I did. You had to depend upon the government. This is not putting nobody on blast. This video is just for educational purposes. That's all I'm saying, man. But you trying to sit up here and trying to mail like, go and tell Esau what you tell me. Because the same person that's talking all of that, you even still need permission from Esau is to try driving without a driver's license. What you got over where you at? So how you gonna come up and tell me, excuse me, not tell me, but you told your uncle that he wasn't a slave. Man, it's a condition that your uncle grew up under, into Christianity and all of that, bringing you to church under that, and he was very zeal about that, and you gonna say the person wasn't a slave, and the person, your uncle, he's still buying, and he still got to go and pay the so-called white man for whatever he needs. Even I do. So I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. You got to get permission from Esau to drive that damn. If you go try to drive that car out there on that goddamn highway and see what's gonna happen. Go try to drive your damn car on the goddamn highway and see what the hell gonna happen. If that's the case, I hurry up and get and have a car quick, fast, and in a hurry. Got to put no insurance on it, no driver's license, no insurance. Hell yeah, that'd be like heaven for me. That's what you're saying. So I think it's like you're not living in reality. Something ain't right. That's crazy for a person to say that.
But at the same person, you saying that, but at the same in the same breath, you got to go and get permission from Esau. Hey, try driving your car or whatever vehicle you got out there on the highway. Burn up your insurance. Leave your driver's license at home. Say, I don't need these driver's license. I'm gonna leave them in the house. Do that, and take them insurance stickers off your window of your car. You do that. And when they pull you over, they shouldn't have to do you nothing. Oh, you all right, you good. We done did away with that law. You don't have to have insurance and you don't have to have driver's license. When you got to have insurance and driver's license and they can lock you up for no insurance and no driver's license and take your car and tow your car, you ain't got no driver's license, no insurance, they're going to tow that damn car. Some of them will even take your damn license if they expire. What do you call that? That's slavery. How can people be so dumb, man, and spew ignorant information? I give it to you, like I said. You may be a little you smart, you're more intellectual than I am. I give you that. You are. But I just need you is to teach the information right. That's all I need you to do. Don't come up because I'm like, come on, man. I know you're too dynamite and you're too scholar. I should say, almost. You are very scholar. You are too scholar to be speaking left like that. That's why when I heard the stuff that this brother was saying, I'm like, what the heck? It's like, hold on, wait a fucking minute. Hold the hell up, hold up. What is he talking about? Like, it just didn't even make it just didn't make no kind of sense at all. And I hope you get this video. You and your little friends across this town that said, oh, he's racist. He make all the videos and talking about white people and race. Man, these people have been they stole everything from us. Like, and then he had his nerve to say, they don't owe you nothing. They don't owe, first and foremost, stuff that they took, they robbed our people and took it. Let me show them that too. How can people be so dumb? I'm not trying to put him down or nothing, but like, damn, man, what the hell? The Bible says, let's start at 21 first. Isaiah 42 and 21. The Lord is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. When you rob somebody, what do? You're not asking them, that's not asking them. That's not doing, you're not making an honest living. It says, but this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snares and holes. They are all hidden in prison houses. And they are for a prey. They said they are for a prey. That means that a lot of our people is in the hands of Esau. Esau is the one that built all these prison systems. And none delivers for a spoil, and none said restore. The Bible said this is a people robbed and spoiled. Some people say slavery was a choice, but the Bible said this is a people robbed. When you rob somebody, is you asking them to come rob you, or is they taking it? That's a forcible take. When somebody rob you, they are forcing you. Usually you think of a natural physical gunpoint. People that was taken against their will. That's what that means. When you rob somebody, you are asking, or you're taking something from them against their will that they did not ask you to do. Let's look up the definition of rob. Let me do that. But here it is right here. The answer is simple. Yes, it says, does slavery still exist today? The answer is simple. Yes, slavery does still exist in America today. In fact, the estimated number of people living in conditions of modern slavery. Living in bad conditions means people that are on welfare, food stamps, Social Security, disability, what all you want, SS or whatever you want to call that shit. You have a lot of people still living on the type of stuff. You see what I'm saying? And you was raised up on the government help just like I was, just like me. You was, yes. You was too. So now that you got on your high horses, now you're gonna like you all proud for now, huh? Okay, all right, okay. It says the answer is simple. Yes, slavery does still exist in America today, and the in fact, the estimated number of people living in conditions of modern slavery in the United States are right now is uh 40 400 403,000. If I say that the numbers might have been wrong, 40,000 40 no 44,000 or 403,000. I'm gonna say it like that. I think I said it wrong the first time. 403,000. 403,000 living in poverty conditions. Now, what is slavery? We a lot of our people experiences this, all this other stuff. Now let's go to um I had to come in here to avoid the music from getting in the video. That's why I had to come up in here and speak up in here in the closet. What was that other scripture that I was gonna go to? But it's so many of them, man. We still are living. Let's look up the definition of what's that word? Oh, rob. What is the definition of robbing?
Here's the definition of rob.
What is the definition of rob?
Here's the definition of rob. Take property unlawfully from a person or place by force or threat of force.
That's plain and simple. You taking somebody's property based upon force, threat, or threatening them. When you have a gun on somebody, that's a symbol of you're threatening that person. You're taking something by violence. Taking property unlawfully from a person. That's an unlawful thing to do that. Or a place by force or threat or force. He tried with 3 others to rob a bank. Rob a bank means you're doing that's immorally. So I don't know what that brother was saying what he said. I definitely had to come in, like address that situation. There's more scriptures that is on it, you know what I'm saying? But I just don't get why. How could that first person fix their understand? Like you definitely still you can know all of that stuff and spewing all that ignorance like that, and still as dumb as a damn doorknob. You still ain't the reality. Who are you? It's to tell a person that you wasn't a slave. What? Who are you to define what happens in a person's life? You know? Yeah, I'm like I said to myself, I said that doesn't even make any sense. You know? Yeah. You don't do stuff like that, man. Like, I mean, I can pick stuff out of the book. Oh, let me prove that the Bible is not a religious book, and I'm not a religious person because I know a lot of people gonna accuse me of that, and I know he definitely would do that to he definitely excuse me he would definitely do that to his uncle, and I don't that's not right for that person is to do that to his uncle. I don't that's not right at all, and he need to understand that if his
I hope he understands that I'm not talking about him, and then I'm not doing that. I'm just proving the conditions of slavery. That's all I'm doing. Now let's read it right here in the book of Joshua, chapter 1. Matter of fact, let me show you this. People, a lot of people don't want to see it. Look at that. It says, hold on, let me make sure it's not. It says, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy ways prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. It says this book of law. It didn't say this book of religion. Religion is what confines you. It says that you will have good success. Now, when you are in prison or you are enslaved to something, that is not considered nothing good about that. When you're in prison, there's nothing good about being in prison. And I'm trying to show the difference between being confined and being enslaved. When you got to pay for your food as a so-called Hispanic, Black, and Native American person, that is not a good thing. That is a bad thing, but we have to do it in order to be able to survive. Let's go and let's read one of the curses in Deuteronomy 28 and verse 16. Let's read that. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 16. It says, "Cursed shall thou be in the city." It's a curse thing. No. What does the word curse mean? The word curse just simply means to be devoted to destruction, and I'm gonna prove that. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. That means in the work field. When you have to go on another man's job, look like what she told me I need to get up and go do, and this and that and the third, and all of that, which he's proven that he's really cutting himself, really. When you got to go and work on it for minimum wages and all that, anytime you got to go and work for something, that's a curse. Anytime you got to go depend upon another nation for what in one of all things, that means you got to. That's a curse. Curse shall be thy basket and thy store. To be without a business, is that a good thing? When you wake up and your business is fucked up, when you wake up and your business is you don't have no business, you can't provide for your family because they told you haven't paid the mortgages or you haven't paid the property taxes and stuff on that. I'm sorry, we got to take your land and this and that and the third. You got to give it up. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? That's a bad thing, man. It's nothing good. That's what the word curse simply means. Cursed shall be thy basket in thy store. We don't own no businesses. When you go to the store, you got to pay, and if you don't have enough money to pay for that stuff, you got to put it back. That's a curse. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land. We don't have no land. We don't own no land, no property, or none of that. And the increase of thy kind and the flock of thy sheep. Cursed shall thou be when thou comest in. That means when you're born into this world. And cursed shall thou be when thou goest out. That means when you die. When you're born into this world, you're born in poverty. When you leave this world, you are leaving here in poverty. Like a lot of our people. You see what I'm saying? So, and it says in Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15, it said, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I commanded thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." That's what I just read, the curses. You see what I'm saying? And I just read what some of the curses were. Now, if you look at Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 46, "Therefore shall thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have taught thee." You see what I'm saying? Now let's go and let's look at, "Therefore shall thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. We got to go to our enemies in want of all things, man. Let's prove Deuteronomy chapter 2. Deuteronomy 2. Deuteronomy chapter 2. Let's see. Deuteronomy chapter 2 and verse 6. Ye shall buy meat of them for money. Let's read verse 5. Let's start at verse 5. Meddle not with them, for I will not give you of their land. Of their land. No, not so as a foot. Because I have given Mount Seir unto Esau for a possession. Ye shall buy meat of them. Ye shall buy meat of them for money, that ye may eat. And ye shall also buy water of them for money, that ye may drink. I just read it in Deuteronomy 28 and verse 16. It said we have to go to our enemies in want of all things. In order to get those things, we got to have money to spend, right? And I just read in Lamentation 5. Let's go back there and let's go back to Lamentation 5. Because I don't know what this brother is saying. It's like he ain't in reality. Something ain't clicking to tell his uncle something like that. Like, damn, goddamn, what the hell? Like, I couldn't believe what I'm like, am I really hearing what I think I'm hearing? Like, this brother ain't really he ain't reading his Bible. He ain't, because spiritual people ain't gonna talk like that. You done got a hold of some kind of Satanism or something. Oh my, let's go to Lamentations. Did I say Lamentation? Jeremiah, Lamentation. That's a book right before you get to Ezekiel. Lamentation chapter 5 and verse 2. Lamentation 5 and 2. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens. We are orphans and fatherless. That means no fathers in the home. Like I didn't have that. Our mothers are as widows. We have drinking our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us. That's a curse, man. Anytime you got to go and buy water, that's a curse. Verse 5, our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest. We have given the head to the Egyptians. We have given the hand to the Egyptians and to the Assyrians, and the Assyrians to be satisfied with bread. Our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have bore their iniquities. Servants have ruled over us. There is none that does deliver us out of their hand. We get our bread with the peril of our life because of the sword of the wickedness. You see what I'm saying? Then it says, our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. They ravaged the women of Zion. That's talking about the Esau and the maidens in the cities of Judah. Princes are hanged up by their head. The faces of elders were not honored. We don't even honor each other. So let's go and let's break down more what the curses are. Now, Jeremiah, I don't know whether to read Jeremiah chapter. Let's start reading Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 1. Concerning the Ammonites, thus said the Lord, had Israel no son, had he no hair, why then does the king inherit Gad, and his people dwell in his cities? Therefore, behold, the days come, said the Lord, that I will cause the arm of war to be heard in Rahab and in the Ammonites, and it shall be a desolated heap, and her daughters shall be burned by fire. then shall Israel shall be hair unto them that were in his hair, said the Lord. How, O Heshbon, for Ai is spoiled. Cry ye, daughters of Rahab, gird you with sackcloth. Lament. That lament means to start praying to and fro by the hedges of hedges, for their king shall go unto captivity, and his princes together. Let's read. This is talking about how God is going to take revenge upon Babylon, for enslaving Israel and Judah. In those days, and in that time, said the Lord, the iniquity of Israel shall be sought for, and there shall be none, and for the sins of Judah, and they shall not obey. They shall not be found, for I will pardon them, whom I have preserved. Let's look at the sins of let's look at Jeremiah chapter 48 and verse 21. Let's start at verse 19. O inhabitation of area, stand by the way, and east and apps, ask him that flees, and her that escape, and say, what is done? Moab is confounded, for it is broken down. How? And the cry, tell ye in it, in Arion, that Moab is spoiled. Judgment is come upon the plain country, upon Holon, and upon Jahaz, and upon Math, 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 not Mattiah, and upon Dibon, and upon Nebo, and Bet Ooh. And upon now, this is basically talking about the judgment. These are the curses that's going to reverse on the other nations. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that the word curses just simply means to be devoted to destruction. That's all. Let's look at Jeremiah chapter. I tell you what. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 51. Jeremiah chapter 51. I think it's 51, because God said He gonna bring judgment, and I just read upon Moab and upon all the other nations. It says, "Thus said the Lord: Behold, I will raise up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that raise up against me as a destroying wind, and I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Against him that bringeth, let the arch bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in bright his bridem, and spread ye not, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. For Israel had not been forsaken. Okay, now this is talking about the judgment that's going to come up on the other nations for all the stuff that they did to Israel. You see what I'm saying? Now let's go. I want to prove more of the destruction that's going to come upon that the word curse just simply means to be devoted to destruction. Let's go to the book of Judges, and I think chapter 3, Joshua chapter 3, I think. No, Judges, my bad. Not Joshua, but the book of Judges. The book of Judges. This was dealing with the nation of Israel. The Bible says, and the angel of the Lord, oh, wait a minute, hold on. It says, now these are the nations which the Lord left to prove Israel by them, even as many of Israel as had not known all the wars of Canaan. All the wars of Canaan, because they came, and remember, all these other nations were seeking to come against Israel. Only that the generation of the children of Israel might know to teach them war at the last, such as before. No, knowest nothing. There are, namely, 5 lords of the Philistines, and of all the Canaanites, and the Sidonian, the Sidonians, and the Hivites that dwelt in the Mount Lebanon, from Mount Baal Hermon and entering into Hamath, entering in of Hamath, and they were to prove Israel by them, to know whether they would hearken unto the commandments of the Lord, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moses. And the children of Israel dwelt amongst the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites, and these are like the African tribe, and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, and they took their daughters to be their wives. That means this is where Israel started mingling, and this is how the reason why a lot of us is coming out mixed, and a lot of our people looking a little different. They still of Israel, but they just, because we look a little different, a lot of us may have a lot more facial hair, and you know what I'm saying. And a lot of people mistake the northern kingdom for Esau. And this is what this is all that this is part of what this is going into it. And those are part of the curses our people going off. And they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to their sons, and served their gods. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and forgot the Lord their God, and served Baalim in the grove. Therefore the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel. I mean, he was pissed the hell off. And he sold them, he sold them unto the hand of the Crusher-Resharim, king of Mesopotamia. And the children of Israel served Crusher-Resharim 8 years. And when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord raised up a deliverer to the children of Israel, who delivered them, even Othniel, and of the sons of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother. You see what I'm saying? And I'm going to skip and go to verse 12. And the children of Israel did evil again. All right, I'll tell you what, let's read this in. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he judged Israel, and went out to war. And the Lord delivered the Crusher-Resharim, king of Mesopotamia, unto his hand. And his hand prevailed against Crusher-Resharim, Crusher-Resharim, and the land had rest 40 years, and Othniel the son of Kenaz died. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord. And the Lord strengthened Eglon, king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of the Lord. See, he said, and the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord. You notice how your children, they go to jail and get out, they do okay for just maybe a while. They don't even stay out a good 2 weeks, a good week no more. Like, damn, they just went back in there. You see what I'm saying? So that's what this is actually going into, bro. It's like you can tell who fit the curses, because if you go back to Deuteronomy chapter 28, it's going to actually break down. You know, a lot of our people living in poverty. That's why I say, I don't understand how can that brother say something like that against his uncle or whatever. This is not talking about you, bro. If you get this video, but you need to go. I think what you need to do, you might have misread something. I don't see how you said that, bro. You gotta come and you got to redeem yourself some kind of way. Because you're going to sit there and say, okay, let's say we go out there and work for it, just like you said, and you saying the so-called white man don't owe us nothing, which that's a total lie. I totally disagree with that. because they stole everything. How you gonna say that the so-called white man don't owe our people nothing, or don't owe me nothing, or owe your uncle nothing, or whatever, when they stole it from our people? But you gonna disagree with that, though, is you? They stole it. That's what the Bible said. That's what the Most High said. They did this to our people. They raped, robbed, and murdered the country, man. Are you really into reality? Come on, bro. I know you ought to be in real reality. You ought to be in real reality, man. And I feel like I'm touching on some of the things about the judgment and stuff like that, man. Let's read Judges chapter 4:1. And the children of Israel did evil. It did evil in the sight of the Lord when Ehud was dead, and the Lord sold them unto the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, that reigned in Hazor, the captain whose host was Sisera, which dwelt in Heshtaroth, Heshrosheth, Rosha of the Gentiles. And the children of Israel cried unto the Lord, for he had 900 chariots of iron, and 20 years he mightily oppressed the children of Israel. See that? That was one of the curses. That's a curse to be oppressed. So that's what it means. A curse, it just simply means is to be devoted to destruction, man. It says, and Deborah, a prophecy, the wife of Lapdon, she judged Israel at that time. Lapdon, she judged Israel at that time. And she dwelt under the plum tree of Deborah between Ramath and Bethel and Mount Ephraim. That goes into the kingdom, talking about the northern kingdom, because that was the northern kingdom, which would be the head tribe of the northern kingdom. Ephraim is, and children of, now if you look at the northern kingdom, the Puerto Ricans, some of them look like Esau. Let's see what this is. Somebody said, somebody messaged me, okay, on TikTok. Yeah, so I'm gonna check it out. Somebody really liked that, you know what I'm saying? Something I posted on TikTok. It said, and look, man, and she sent and called B-Rock, the son of Abiam, out of Kadesh Naphtali, said unto him, had not the Lord God of Israel commanded, saying, go and draw toward Mount Tabbar, and take with thee 10,000 men of the children of Naphtali and of the children of Zebulun. Zebulun, that would be the so-called Panama, Guatemala, like the island of Costa Rica or something like that. And I would draw unto thee to the river of Kishon, Sisera, the captain of Jashban's army, with his chariots and his multitude, and I would deliver him unto thy hand. I remember these words. When I was reading these words, I said, "What the hell is this?" In? I couldn't even pronounce them. I couldn't even read. But my family, as I was listening to the Bible tapes, listening to family members and people that I asked, you know what I'm saying? It over the years when I was struggling with reading and writing and stuff like that, then like no matter, it seems like no matter how long it's like it took you forever to be able to say them. But back then, people would have been laughing at me if I would have been reading this before the congregation, because it wouldn't be nowhere in the world. I still probably didn't say them all properly like I should have. But I just wanted to just come and share with y'all some of this information, and I'm going to say much love to my so-called Hispanics, Blacks, and Native American people, which are the true Jews according to the Bible. So, man, you said that, man, you need to come and redeem yourself on some of the things you're saying, because I know you kind of you went kind of off on some of the information, man. I know you have. You need to go back and do some research, man, because what you were saying, I know that didn't add up. It didn't match up with the Most High at all. It didn't. Let's get one more scripture on that. Isaiah 8 and 20. I'm gonna leave you with this hint. I should have read the one Isaiah 8:20. I should have read the one from Acts 5 and 29, but you have it in the video. Acts chapter 8 and verse 20. The Bible says, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Oops. Let me. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. He didn't say no truth in them. Every church got a little, everybody got a little truth in them, but the key word is light. I said I was gonna stop. Let me go there. I need to make sure that I'm. Should I be listening to you, or should I be listening to the God of Israel? Because last I checked, people is misleading. They're telling people wrong. And I hope you may not even watch all this video. Acts 5. Acts chapter 5. Okay, let's look at that. Acts chapter 5 and verse 23. Let's turn over. Acts 5. And verses 29. There we go. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than man. Not obey your nephew, not obey your uncle, none of that. It said we ought to obey God rather than man. So if you ain't coming out this Bible, if I command, if you ain't coming at the Bible, your uncle shouldn't even be listening to you, because you ought to be ashamed of yourself. It's to have that, to be almost a genius, and you meet people like that. And I just read in the Bible, if you keep the commandments, now we was given the commandments in the very beginning. Now you can say what you want to say, but I'm going to prove to you that this book is not a book to use. How is I'm enslaving people? I'm not telling people, making people aware of the enemy. We got to go to Esau and to get all. I'm not encouraging people, yeah, you better continue to keep work. Esau is a nice bro. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm saying Esau is the enemy, the white man. But I know you're going to disagree with this, though. But I don't, it doesn't, as long as I know I'm not telling my people that's wrong, I'm good. That's what's important to me. I care what everybody else say. I care about what God say. You don't define nobody. You don't have a destruction or hell or nothing to put nobody in. Genesis chapter 26 and verse 5. Look what the Bible says. Because that Abraham obeyed my voice. That means voice means he read the Bible and kept my commandments. And kept my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. Because that Abraham obeyed my voice. That means he stayed in his Bible and read the Bible. Kept my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. He didn't say because that Abraham obeyed a damn religion, kept my religion, and taught everybody else to follow a damn religion. He said, because that Abraham obeyed my voice, kept my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. Let me ask you this here, as you speaking to your nephew that way, I mean your uncle that way. What is wrong with your uncle telling you as a brother that it is wrong for a man to sleep with your wife? How is that putting you under? Esau is responsible for all of that. So how in the world is I'm teaching my people to be enslaved? When you go into Christian church, that's all they teach you is fornication and lay up with any damn body and sleep with everybody's damn husband and wife. So how in the hell is you telling me, you telling your uncle that he's enslaving people with a religious book? Is that enslaving my brother for telling my brother is not to violate you as a man, and you a man, and he a man, and this man is, let's say, a gay man, and I'm trying to push a gay man on my brother? What kind of shit is that? That's putting you under bondage. I'm telling you not to do that. I'm telling you that pedophilia is not right. I'm telling you that if you love your brother, you won't defile his wife. If a woman love her husband, if a woman love her sister, she won't sit up there and sleep with her sister's husband. How is that putting you under bondage, bro? What are you saying? Basically, what you telling your uncle, he can sleep with anybody. He can sleep with another man's wife. Basically, what you're saying, you sleep with somebody else's wife. Then, if you sit up there saying you wasn't this and you wasn't a slave, this and that, or you putting people under slavery, you're putting people under this here. How would you feel if a brother or somebody like me got on camera and literally told another man or another sister it's okay to sleep with another woman's husband? You tell me that. I got a problem with looking down here when I should have been looking into the camera. You tell me, how is that right? Is to sit up there and sleep with to encourage another woman, it's okay to sleep with your sister's husband. Or if I sit up there and say, yeah, sleep with my nephew's wife. How sick? That's sick. If I love my brother, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be able to sleep with myself at night if I sat up there and encourage my brother is to do a immoral, heinous act like that against his own brother. Sleeping with little boys and all that kind of stuff, like the Roman Catholic be doing. I'm not encouraging my people to do that. So how is it that you're going to tell your uncle that he is enslaved when he's literally teaching his people not to break or go against that law? You can't get around. I don't care how dominant or how smart you are. You ain't going to be able to get around this one. Partner, you is not going to be able to get around this. You can't dispute nothing I just said. Because I love you as a brother, it ain't no way in the world I'm gonna sit up there and encourage my brother or encourage my sister or my brother is to go and sleep with another man, sleep with his brother's wife. Just like I wouldn't sit up there and encourage my sister is to go and sleep with another woman's husband. Because that is foul against the Most High God. And I'm gonna come back and we're gonna talk some more on that because I feel like this is an interesting topic. I didn't think I was gonna go over an hour. Hopefully this video would be edifying to somebody out there. I'm hoping that it would be, you know what I mean? I'm hoping that it doesn't like, you know what I'm saying. I hope that it doesn't you know what I'm saying, that it's not overly casual, you know, for the people or whatever, you know what I mean. But I was just trying to make a point with what I was saying. So I'm gonna say much love to my so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people of color. I'm gonna see y'all later, and I'm out.